Test, test. All right, here we go. This is like a thing here. So now, it's gonna follow me, right, when I go over here. Hello, I'm over here in motion. I got a camera operator that's working for me, sort of. Okay, for today's video, I'm putting some new stuff together. New tools, new gear for new projects, things like that. And this is one of them. This thing that follows me, which is not really why I got it, but it does it, so I wanted to test it out, and so here we are. I'm also testing two new an old microphone and a new microphone. They're taped under my shirt right here, which you maybe can see, I don't know. I'm just doing all kinds of weird stuff today that has to do with camera gear and audio stuff. It's tabletop alchemy, man, and we're getting the alchemy in here today. So, let's get to it. Greetings, good humans, and welcome to Tabletop Alchemy, where I can move around and have a camera follow me, and maybe I'm in focus, maybe I'm not. I don't know. You don't know either. We're just making stuff up today. And we thank our patrons. I know, you guys are out there, yeah, watching. Thank you for sticking around for all the weird stuff that has nothing to do with hobbies. But it has stuff to do with other hobbies. I don't know. The whole YouTube thing's a hobby for some people. I mean, whatever, right? We're not hobby exclusive here. We welcome all hobbies. And we welcome all patrons. Okay, I'm holding up an iPad right here, you can see, because I am wirelessly checking the framing on this crappy app that the old A7 III is the only one it'll talk to, so it's whatever. Just trying to make sure frames. This is the first time I've done this stuff I talked about. So basically what I'm using over here is the thing that's following me right now, but I want to check and see if it'll tilt with me, which I don't. We're going to check that out here in a second. It's the Ronin Mini 4 RS4 Mini. It's a gimbal. That's all it is. But it comes with this little add-on module that allows it to do this. It has like a little camera, and it will follow us and stuff like that. And you give it like hand signals to make it stop, and now it won't follow me, right? Like this. So then I can reframe myself. I put myself in the middle. Like if I put myself off to the edge of frame, so now I'm framed over here, and I do this, and it starts tracking me again. Now if I go over here, does it keep me framed to the side? Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's kind of neat. Let me see if I can make this thing tilt a little bit. And now what if we do this? Oh, it does work. I just had it set to the one axis. I also have this gimbal is right now using an 85mm lens. Normally you wouldn't put a lens on that's this tight, or this long telephoto of a lens, but I wanted to see if it would work. So let's see now if we crouch down. It still doesn't. Oh, there we go. It adjusted the headroom a little bit. I'm just testing this out, and I want to talk and jabber so I can test out these microphones. But I am going to put together this little camera rig thing, and we're going to talk about what I've spent all my money on. But over here, I'm going to put together a camera rig that I built specifically to do a couple of projects. So let's talk about a little bit of, this is kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting to chat like this where I could just walk around and chat with you guys. That's weird. I'm one of those people that needs to walk when they're on the phone. I need to walk around. I don't like sitting down when I talk. Anyway, this is kind of bizarre. It's sort of like talking to you this way. Anyway, let's talk about projects for a minute. So let's talk about, first off, Rangers of Shadow Deep, the film. I know we haven't talked about this one in a while. So I sent the script that I wrote. I sent that over to my buddy, a screenwriter, to rewrite it. He's about 3/4 of the way down on his rewrite. I'm actually kind of surprised that it's taken him this long to do it. He's usually a very fast writer, but there is an extenuating circumstance, which is that this is not his genre at all. And he told me too, he's like, man, you're making me work. Like, this is like definitely not something that he's used to, which I actually like that idea that he's not used to it. So anyway, that's about 3/4 of the way done. I'm going to check in with him. We'll see where that is. But part of, the other side project, of course, is like the little teaser that I've been talking about for almost a year at this point that I want to do. I geared up for that. And that's a whole camera rig. I mean, this stuff's been out there for years and years, and a lot of people have been doing it, but it's the first time I kind of went out and blew my credit card up at VH Photo, and I got all the stuff I need to have a decent little camera package to be able to go out and shoot some cool things. I specifically wanted to be able to shoot in RAW, ProRes RAW, which gives us a lot more color information to deal with for color correction. So I wanted to be able to do that. And so I had to build up this kind of rig for it, and I needed batteries to go with it and all the other stuff. So anyway, that's what we're putting together. So, and I've mentioned that I've been working on another little side project while I've been so busy with all this day job stuff. So like an hour a night for the last 3-4 weeks when I didn't have time to sit down and paint models. I mean, yes, you could yell at me and say, dude, you had an hour a night, you should have been painting miniatures. But I got struck with an idea, a thing that I still don't want to talk about. I know I mentioned it before, and I was like, I want to keep the energy close. I want to keep it. I don't want to bleed the energy out. I want to make sure I get it done. But I will say that phase 1 of a multi-phase project has been completed, and I was pretty stoked. Completed it last night, and I actually took a screenshot of it and sent it to my buddy. I was like, hey, I got the phase 1 done. And it does have to do with filmmaking, of course. You know, that's another thing I've never really talked about. I've mentioned how I kind of, I was really into filmmaking and trying to become a filmmaker and things like that all the way up to a certain point. Right around 2015, I went on to an indie film production that was so gnarly that I let it crush my spirits about filmmaking. And I just walked away from filmmaking kind of in general. I still did, obviously, I've always been doing video production for day job stuff. That's what I do. But as far as like trying to do like filmmaking stuff, artistic things, narrative stuff, I just kind of gave it all up. I was like, this is obviously not for me. I can't deal with this. I just gave up. And we'll talk about that in detail. Not necessarily the bad project I was on, because it's bad vibes to kind of jabber about bad projects, and everybody goes through that stuff. It was kind of insane. It would make a great story to listen to, maybe. But talk more about this idea of giving up on something, a dream or whatever. Anyway, so I got into all this other stuff, Lego, and I got back into the miniatures and tabletop hobby and all that stuff, and that's kind of what I filled that time with. But obviously recently, I've been getting the fire. I don't think the fire ever went out entirely. The fire for filmmaking kind of died down and turned into it's just a bed of coals that were just sort of trying to warm my frozen heart. The coals have sort of ignited back up again. And again, getting on that train with that whole idea of I'm just getting older. It's going to be pretty soon now where the, that last drop shoot's going to happen at some point. It lends itself to the notion of not giving a shit and just trying. So I've kind of gotten pretty excited about the filmmaking stuff again. Anyway, so let's get to it. This is my multi-purpose, like crafting area, sort of, right? My painting area is over there, and this is for airbrushing. I put the airbrush booth up, or if I need to build something, cut stuff out of center or foam core or whatever, this is usually the desk I use for it. So this is a 40 millimeter lens, and the piece that I purchased is this camera cage. So it's for a small rig. They make camera cages for different camera bodies, and the idea is it basically turns it into an erector set or a Lego set. So now you've got all these like little connection points and everything, and you've got them all over the place where you can add things and you can put things on the base, and you can basically build out a little rig. And the reason that we got this is to build out a little rig. So this thing right here is just more Lego set stuff by Small Rig, which is not a sponsor or anything of this video. We have this device here, this thing here, which is going to basically allow me to put a giant battery on the back of this camera, so I can power the camera, my audio recorder, and our small LCD that is also, I have an LCD that's just an LCD, like a 5-inch monitor that can go on here, and I also have the Ninja 5, which is a monitor that actually will do recording as well to SSDs, and that's how we will record raw footage out of this camera. So we got a little handle. These are called NATO rails. It's like a design to slide on, and I can just slide it to the middle, maybe one more, and now I've got a little handle. I can mount the monitor directly to this top rail or to this handle. So pull up one of our little Small Rig batteries that I invested in. So this is just a battery holder, right, for V-mounts, so it holds the battery. Now it doesn't actually plug the battery into anything. That's why we use all the ports to run the. So we run. So we run all the cables out of the battery. That's how we're powering stuff. And we can have the monitor riding on the whole thing like this. We can also, if I don't want to have this handle for whatever reason, take this handle off. So then we can just have it directly on the top of the camera or whatever. So whatever works. It's just these little NATO rails kind of let you have a lot of customization that you can do with certain things. So this is kind of cool because this is all battery powered now, and I can take it out to the woods to shoot Rangers of Shadow Deep. Not the movie, but the teaser, right? So I forgot. I wanted to show you one thing. I've wanted one of these freaking things for so long. Basically, this is called a hi-hat. And it's just a mini tripod. This will hold like up to 200, 300 pounds or something like that. Something ridiculous. I think 200 pounds. I don't know. Anyway, it's a little tiny. It's low to the ground, so I can do like low ground shots. And I can put whatever video head, tripod head that I want on here. I've always wanted to have a decent way to just not have to lower my tripod and try to get all the way down to the ground. It never goes quite low enough, and this guy will go. I can put it way down on the dirt and you can still get some good moves. Obviously, if you still want to get like POV of like dirt, you put it, you just take the camera off and put it on a little pillow or something on the ground. But this is pretty slick. Okay, I had to go pour some beer because this off the cuff trying to do stuff like this is just ridiculous, and I do it every time. But I rigged this mic. I need to go ahead and plug it in to the FX3 so that it's the normal audio setup that I normally do. The mic's a little far away because I wanted to see how that audio transfers through the HDMI into the recorder to see if it's supposed to get audio that way. These guys are recording, the lav mics here. I could flash you, lift my shirt up and show you where the lav mics are, but I'm not going to do that. I'm demure. Oh yeah, we should do some tests, like what if somebody talks really low and the lav mics says something, I really wish I had some beer. This beer is tasty. I need like a bunch more beer or an assistant. And, less crazy thoughts in my head. More planning. You would think, from the way that I do things on this channel, that there is no way I could produce a film or stuff like that. But trust me, when I get down to going to work, like on a set and stuff like that, or any job, mostly, I buckle down. I get focused. And I do things tip-top, tip-shape, tip-top, tip. I don't know what I'm saying. I just want to have more beer. I just want to sit here and drink beer. Never say you're too old to get into a new hobby. This is all just experimentation I had to do, and I also needed to get you guys out something to occupy your video time while you're doing hobby stuff at your desk, which is, at this point, kind of what I'd like to do. Go sit over there and paint a miniature. I've got a miniature right over here picked out. I know what I'm going to work on next. As far as a hobby thing, tabletop hobby thing goes, he's right over there. It's an orc with a giant cannon. Not a 40K cannon. Like a pirate ship cannon. And he's holding it like a minigun. It's super cool. I can't wait to paint it. But this beer is hitting the spot for sure. And I thank you patrons out there for keeping the beer in my fridge. It's much appreciated. Do I need all of this stuff that I just showed you? Do I need all of it to go out into the woods and make a little project? Shoot a little short film or something? Do I need all that? The answer is no. I shot a bunch of stuff for clients with just a camera and a lens. We don't want to lose sight of the fact that the upgrading should always be intentional. There's a lot of people that do like to collect gear because it's, it's gearheads and the collector stuff and all that. I get that. Don't frivolously spend on gear and upgrading and whatever. Of course, you do you. I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life or how to manage your bank account. Don't manage it like I manage mine. I think all the stuff I got was for very specific reasons that I could list out. You had to put me on a stand and say, Fish, why did you buy this? Why'd you buy that? Why'd you buy this? I'd be like, bam, 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 answer. I know all the answers. I have answers for every single piece of equipment that I purchased. Most importantly, though, just Stay creative. Put the time into it. If you got an idea and you want to get it done, you know what I'm going to say. You got to sit in the chair. That's right. We already talked about that. Go be creative. I'll see ya.